Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley. Wow. You know, today is Thursday. We got Paula Shaw, Bridges Beyond Grief. We got absolutely a special guest coming your way today that's been on the show a few times, and she is doing so many great things, especially when it comes to veterans and other, our supported firefighters, veterans, and others. So I tell you what, you have to stay tuned on this one because it's going to be a lot we're going to learn today. How you doing, Paula? How you doing today?
I'm just doing so great, as always, when I get to spend time with you and Michelle on Thursday afternoons, and we get to bring wonderful people to the spotlight like Tammy Oluvic, and that's a treat. So thank you for the treat.
It is. Hey, how you doing, Dr. Cooley? How you doing today?
I'm doing great. As Paula mentioned, our guest is Tammy Oluvic. She's been a guest on the show before, and you mentioned not only veterans, but first responders that her organization helps. So we'll learn a little bit more about Tammy.
I tell you what, hey, Todd, let's patch everything in. Let's patch all the different platforms in, and let's Hello. Welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley. And wow, guess what? We've got a guest host today, Paula Shaw, Bridges Beyond Grief. And we got this absolutely wonderful guest that's been on the show a few times. And we are just so happy and fortunate to have her back on. She is doing some great things out there. With our first responders, our veterans, and her nonprofit foundation. We're going to find out a whole lot about that, I think. She's going to open up a different location. Got to.
Yeah.
So that means she's helping a whole lot of folks out, and we're going to talk about that. How you doing, Paula? How you doing today?
As always on Thursday afternoons, I'm doing great, JC, because I get to hang with you and Michelle and bring wonderful people like Tammy to the eyes and ears of our viewers and listeners.
Absolutely. Looking forward to having on. Dr. Cooley, how are you doing? I did not give it away. I did not give it away.
You told the audience who the guest was, so you gave it away, but that's okay. I got more to give.
How you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm amazed by this guest that we have today. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes to make her organization run flawlessly. So we're going to learn a little bit about her and this amazing organization.
I'm excited. Can you please do the honors by introducing the title of the show, the purpose of the show, and introduce this absolutely fantastic guest?
Yes, the title of today's show is Saddles in Service of Our Veterans. So Paula Shaw, our guest host, along with Dr. James J.C. Cooley, they're going to have a sit-down conversation with Tammy L. Oluvic. She's the CEO of Saddles in Service. Discussion is going to mention the many faces of PTSD, dismantling isolation, alienation, creating an equine connection, finding a reason to continue living. So let me tell you a little bit about this guest. Mike and Tammy's dream of Saddles in Service became a reality when Mike retired from the United States Navy in 2016. They purchased an equestrian ranch in Alpine, California. A few months later, Tammy learned about a group of horses that had been rescued from an abusive environment and were in need of forever homes. 2 days later, they had their first 2 rescue horses. Today, they helm 18 amazing horses, each one with a unique story. Tammy wanted to not only rescue the horses, but also give them a new purpose. Her passion for veterans, first responders, and their families, paired with her love of horses, led to the creation of Saddles in Service. So I'm going to let Tammy tell you a little bit more about this amazing organization, how it all got started, and the amazing things that they're doing currently. So please welcome back to the show, Miss Tammy Oluvic.
Yay! Hi, Tammy.
Hello. Sorry, I think my internet kind of went down for a second. I don't know what happened, but thank you for having me.
Well, it came back at the perfect moment.
It's always a pleasure having you on the show, Tammy. And your organization is doing so much for our veterans and our first responders, and just the things that you all do, especially with the horses, and you're making folks come back, feel comfortable, adjusting from whatever tragedies, or just coming from the military or PTSD and a lot of other different things. So I want to personally thank you. Thank you for all the things that you're doing. And I know that we're going to learn a whole lot more from what's been going on lately with you and your organization. But my first question to you is, Tammy, can you tell our viewers and our listeners a little bit more about you, where you grew up, why you're so passionate about what you do, and how did horses come into the picture where you saw a vision, understanding, and focus on ensuring that our first responders and veterans have some mechanism of coping with the current society after they have came back from whatever tragedies or situation that they might have been in.
And JC, before she answers that, can I just say a couple of things about why I chose Tammy to be our guest today? Because as we shared, this is the month of Veterans Day. We are focusing on veterans particularly. And we all know that veterans have had a very hard time returning to normal life, if we can call it that, after service. Oftentimes there are issues of PTSD, and we call this show Bridges Beyond Grief because we either want to spotlight people who are grieving and found a bridge to get to the other side, or people like Tammy who provide the bridge. So that's why she just came up number one in my mind when we talked about focusing on veterans this month. Now, Tammy, if you can remember a big, long question that JC asked you, please go ahead.
Okay, well, I'll try. So if I miss anything, just let me know what I missed. But
Okay.
so I'm actually originally from LA County. I grew up in Covina, California. And then I married someone in the Navy, a naval officer. And so we pretty much lived all over the world. And then when it was time to retire, we decided to just stay in San Diego and make San Diego our home. And it's such a beautiful place to be. So I lost my train of thought for a minute because I was thinking about the question. But I started, once Mike retired, we found these horses and they had been abused, neglected, and we rescued them and we adopted them and we brought them into our little ranch in Alpine. And I saw what the horses were doing for Mike. So I grew up with horses. I had horses, throughout my life. I rode English actually in high school and showed. And then we hadn't had horses in our life, for years as we moved all around. But we would ride every once in a while. We go to a little ranch up in Solvang, Alisal Ranch, and we would take the boys and we'd go ride. And so, but now this is different because now they're living on the property. But I saw how they started to change Mike. I saw, because a lot of times with the post-traumatic stress, they can just spiral when they get angry, and it just spirals. And, myself and our kids, we could recognize it. We got to a point, okay, this isn't good. It's about to spiral out of control. We could really pick up on it. But when he was with the horses, he realized, oh, I can't do this, right? I can't. The horse feels it. The horse knows what's going on. And so he really had to, stop for a minute and say, whoa, what am I about to put out there? It was a really good gauge for him to be able to identify it and then say, okay, let me just like breathe for a minute, right? Almost put yourself in timeout and think about what it is that's triggering him. And so he could work through it. And, once I saw that, I was like, okay, I love horses. I want, and then, this was perfect for us to do. And we needed to start something in order to help other veterans and first responders. That's really important to me, is that when we founded this, it was also for first responders, because our son was in law enforcement, and our daughter-in-law, one of our daughter-in-laws, she's an ICU nurse, a nurse in the ICU. And so, they all have that, I say, extra service bone in their body, right? Our veterans, our first responders, they just have this love for their fellow man and want to give back and serve others. And so that was always important. I don't know if I answered all his question, though.
I think that you did, Tammy. And I found that fascinating, especially because, we don't, as humans, when we get angry, we don't always tune into how that's impacting the people around us. But a horse, and sometimes the people try to act like everything's okay, but a horse doesn't know how to do that. If a horse is being triggered or a horse is uncomfortable, he is going to express that in a very honest, open, clear way. So
yes.
I actually had forgotten that your husband was the beginning of this, that you're seeing how the horses were transforming his angst and PTSD was what inspired you. I love that.
Yes.
Wow. Hold that thought. We got to take a station break, but we're going to come back. As you see, we're just getting started. And if you want to be part of the conversation, whichever platform that you're watching us on, was it E367, Transfer TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and over 6 to 8 live platforms, welcome to the show. And if you want to be part of it, just go to the comments, ask any questions that you might have. I promise you we'll get you an answer. Or you can pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
For those looking to improve their lives, there's nobody better to turn to than Paula Shaw. Paula helps people regain successful lives by identifying and eliminating self-sabotaging behavior using a multitude of mind-body techniques to identify and resolve their core issues. Working with a wide variety of healing modalities, she provides her clients with the most effective process for their specific needs. To book a session with Paula, call 858-480-9234. That's 858-480-9234.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? In everything that you do.
The James Cooley Show. It's your life. That's right.
City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James J.C. Cooley, available on Amazon and everywhere books are sold.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and just like I mentioned to you earlier, it's Thursday. We got Paula Shaw, Bridget, Young Gree, and today we got a very, very special guest on the show. We got Tammy, and you know what? This young lady is so special because she's doing so many things for our first responders, for our veterans, and just for the world. And wow, I'm gonna turn it over to Paula, but Paula is getting ready to go deep into the conversation, but we also want to tie in Bridges beyond grief because tragedies in whatever way that might be, it might not be a tragedy, but people kind of get sad, get upset, death in the fact of some things, and sometimes an animal, just having that friend or that pet, that animal, can bring joy to your life. So Paul, I'm turning it back over to you. You got it. Let's do it.
Well, I love that lead in, JC, because as we've mentioned many times on this show, grief is not just something that happens when there's a death. Most people associate grief with death. And of course, grief is a result, a very normal, natural response to death, but it's also a response to any kind of loss. And one of the things that we have realized with all the different research being done is that when you bring somebody into military service or first responder service, any of those kinds of things, it's sort of like if we were all sheep. This is an analogy Dylan Bender, a therapist at the VA, gave me. We're all a herd of sheep. We cull some of those sheep out and make them sheep dogs. We turn them into protectors and warriors. And then when their job is done, we release them back into the herd. And they've got wounds that need healing. They've got changes that have happened. They don't necessarily feel part of the sheep herd anymore, and they don't know how to connect in. And as Tammy was sharing with us, sometimes that shows up in extreme anger and persistent anger. It can show up in many ways, but warriors in our society, there's much more acceptance of anger than there is tears. We expect them to be strong, especially if they've become protectors. So Tammy, I loved in the last segment how you were talking about the evolution of Saddles in Service, your amazing nonprofit. And you mentioned that you noticed that your husband, after his years of military service, you noticed that working with horses was calming his anger because he realized the horse was picking up on it and it was making the horse uncomfortable, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What I'm wondering is, how did you go from that awareness to creating Saddles in Service?
Well, I always wanted to do something to give back to, our family in the military and our family within the first responder community.
Yes.
And it just honestly, it's a God thing. It
Mhm.
truly is. And it was something, he put it on my heart. And as soon as I saw what the horses were doing with Mike, I was like, "Oh, here's what we got to do." And it's funny because the trajectory, and I think some of the obstacles God put in my life and people in my life that were serious obstacles were really like, "Okay, Tammy, how many times you need to be struck with lightning before you know what I'm telling you to do, right?"
Right.
And it just evolved, and it evolved seamlessly. And as we've grown, it just continues to evolve, and the right people are put in our life, and the people
Mhm.
that help us grow even more and take it to the next level. And so, really, it was placed on my heart.
So let me ask you a question. If I'm a new person in your program, day one, what am I experiencing? What do you do with me?
Well, first of all, you're going to come on in and you're going to feel part of the family. And I hear that from all of our heroes. And that's what we call them, heroes, because they're not clients, right? They're heroes. They're
Right.
heroes to us. They're heroes to their family, to their friends.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
when they come in, we're like, "Hey, welcome to the family." And
Yeah.
all of them, you can ask any of them that as soon as they step on, they feel, "Okay, I'm home. This is where I
Yes.
need to be."
Ah,
And so they come on in. We will talk about safety because there's a lot of safety, around horses.
of course.
And we will pair them with one of our wranglers, and they're
Mhm.
going to start with just understanding the predator prey relationship with a horse and how
Ah.
the horse speaks to us through nonverbal communication, and how
Mhm.
really, I think we talked about this last time we were on the show that I was on with you, that being in the present, right?
Yeah.
And really so that you can see when this horse is talking to you with his body language, you
Mhm.
recognize it because you're not off thinking, whatever else in la la land or thinking about the past. And so we teach them how, the horse is going to tell you if you're not with them, they're going to let you know because they're going to ignore you. They're going to do something to let you know, hey, you're not with me. I'm not with you.
Mhm.
Um, and then learning how to handle a horse, to how you approach the horse, and how you put a halter on, how you lead a horse. And you just really get these basics, and then
So
grow.
people don't have to already be riders to come into your program?
No, no,
Oh,
not at all.
that's
Not at
amazing.
all.
Okay. Wow. And so in learning these basics, they're spending time around the horse but you have the wrangler that's there to make sure you're safe and you're doing the right thing. You're safe and the horse is safe, right?
Yes.
But I want to say something about that point you just made about being in the present. As a therapist myself, I find that so many of people's problems exist because they're not in the present moment. Anxiety only exists in the future. You're worried or scared about something that might happen. It isn't usually in the present. And usually the antidote to those things that come up, the fears and the discomfort and all the different things that happen when we get out of the present, those things kind of disappear when you're present. And so I love how the horses are a pathway for the heroes to learn to stay in the present because it is a learned skill.
It is. It really, truly is a learned skill. I didn't realize how much until I started doing this work and seeing it is
Mhm.
a skill, and it's something you have to practice. And
Yes.
as soon as you catch yourself say, okay, you know what? my mind does not need to go there right now because I'm right here.
And it empowers you, because if you shift your mind from one place to the other, the lesson is very clear. You can do that. You don't have to be stuck in your anger. You don't have to be stuck in your fear. You know, that old line, I can't help it. Well, you know, really, it's not at play in many situations, really. And so I think learning that skill, and you're not learning it because you're afraid, you're learning it because you have a desire to have a good relationship with this animal that's making you happy. I mean, how could it be any better? It's so great. Win-win, right? Win-win.
Exactly. You have this huge, 1,000-pound, 1,200-pound horse that wants to be with you.
Yes.
And it feels safe in your presence. And that's so cool.
What do you think is the most important emotional state a person can be in so that the horse is comfortable?
I think when the person is present, they're right there. They're not having anxiety, like you said, over the future. They're not in grief or fear over past.
Yes.
They're just right here, and they're one with the horse, and the horses feel it. I mean, they can hear your heartbeat from, I think it's 6 feet away. They know when your heart rate elevates or when it slows down, if you're feeling anxious or if you're calm. And so the best thing is to just be.
Love that. Love that. And that to me elicits calm and grace. And what a wonderful place to be, calm and in grace.
Yeah.
JC, I have a feeling you're back because we got a break to take, right?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
We got about 2 minutes before the break, but PTSD, first responders, military veterans. I know, Paula, you just mentioned how first thing that you do once you meet a new client. When do you feel, we only got about a minute before the break, after working with the client or checking them out, that they are adjusting to the plan that you set up for them?
Gosh, that's for me, correct?
Yeah.
So, everyone is different, but you can see how the horse responds. And you can see that instantly. You can really see that instantly. But everyone is so different. Sometimes it's like that.
Wow. So I tell you, we do have a break coming up. And I'm going to show that a video that you sent. I think is so remarkable. And this gives our viewers and our listeners an opportunity to see some of the things that you guys are doing there. But I tell you what, whichever platform that you're watching us on, if you want to be part of this conversation, join us. Just go to the comments, ask any question that you might have. I promise you we'll get you an answer. Or you can pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. I want to give a couple of shout outs to Warrant Officer Norris. I see you out there, brother. I see you. One of my Navy guys, and Dr. Terry Spain, Navy guy as well. I see you out there watching. Join the conversation. Ask any question that you might have. We'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity. Coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
Craving a slice of Chicago right here in Temecula wine country? Then dive into legendary Chicago deep dish style pizza at Rosati's Pizza Pub. Piled high with gooey cheese, rich tomato sauce, and your favorite toppings, Rosati's delivers the taste of the Windy City right to your table or front door. Enjoy the cozy pub atmosphere and an impressive selection of Temecula wines. Come on down to Rosati's Pizza Pub for your slice of Chicago right here on Rancho California Road, or order online at myrosatis.com. Rosati's, where Chicago deep dish pizza meets Temecula charm.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
Version of his book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, you can join James as he shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. This is a must listen for anyone who thinks they're stuck in life or needs to understand that their current situation is not their final destination. Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet is the unfiltered truth to provide hope for the future by challenging you to refuse to become a victim of life's circumstance and dare to become an overcomer, because a bigger, better, and more impactful life awaits you. Get the new audio version of his book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by Dr. James Cooley on Amazon or wherever books are sold.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life, and Paula, you selected another absolutely fantastic guest to be on, Bridget Beyond Grief, and we're talking about horses, therapy animals, and first responders, veterans, and PTSD. A whole lot of different things that's locked into a puzzle that we need to have help for, and through animals, I think that is so important. I know Michelle and I, we have a dog, Bella, and sometimes when I kind of get a little roused up or carried away, just bring over, pet her on the head, rub her down, and wagging the tail, and that calms me down. So, so it's important that's important. And what you're doing, Tammy, with your organization, I want to show a little clip to our viewers and our listeners, just to get them a quick understanding of some of the things that you all are doing there. And then I turn it back over to Paul and Michelle. So here we go.
One tour in Afghanistan as an army ranger. This program has helped me tremendously with finding who I am and finding joy and purpose in my life.
The Saddles and Service Equine Therapy and Horse Rescue Program at Storm Sons Ranch was founded to challenge first responders, active duty military, veterans, and their families to rediscover their strength, purpose, and confidence through the freedom of a horse. Our method is to rescue horses, rehabilitate and train them, and give them a purpose. That purpose is to be a partner to our heroes. Our hope is that by partnering horse and hero together, each will find healing for whatever is hurting them. We hope to see you soon at the ranch.
Wow, what incredible.
Yes, love that.
Oh, absolutely. Got one question before I turn back over to Paul and Michelle. And I know you have touched on this, Tammy, a little bit, but how do horses help veterans and first responders, open up emotionally? I know a lot of times, me being a veteran myself, we don't always open up emotionally and share what's our issues or our concerns might be and what we are looking for in help. And sometimes it's just the therapy of just like what you present, horses and et cetera. Can you explain that to you a little bit? And I'm turning back over to Paul.
Sure. It's kind of hard to explain, right? Because it's so hard to explain how someone feels just from the horse. But I have seen our heroes just put their hands on the horse and just pet them. And you can see them coming down. You can see that there's a peace and a calm coming over them. And it's really almost magical what these horses do. And I think our heroes, they fall so in love with these horses and they feel so safe and they feel comforted. The horses take away their pain and release it. We have a hard time releasing. A horse can release very quickly. And a lot of our heroes will just come and take a horse and walk them around and talk to the horse. And that's their way of getting something off their chest that maybe they're not comfortable telling me or telling anybody else, but they'll walk with the horse and just open up to the horse because there's this connection that, like I said, it's hard to explain because it's an animal and it's a feeling and it's your heart opening. And I think when their heart opens, we all know how good that feels when our heart opens, and the horses do that for them.
I hope that perspective, Tammy, I work with the tools of energy psychology. And so one of our beliefs in what quantum physics has taught us is everything's energy. And we are more energy than we are matter, even though we look solid, And so I feel that so strongly that it's the energy between the hero and the horse that when it's in a certain kind of flow, it's working for both of them. But when one of them is out of the flow and the other one is more in this kind of flow, it doesn't work well. So as you said earlier, it's a very real, concrete way for the hero to see, ooh, I'm out of the right flow, so I'm causing this problem with my horse. I need to shift. And as you mentioned in our last segment, and get into the present and into a state of calm. And then you seem to have the ideal environment for healing and for joy and all the wonderful things that evolve from your program. And so, Tammy, I would love you to tell us a little bit about the miracles that are going on with your program and how you guys are growing now, because it's so exciting.
Oh, sure. Well, first of all, we had a beautiful ranch donated to us just a few miles from our original ranch. And this is 20 acres. It's the Circle T Ranch. Oh my goodness, this ranch is unbelievable. It's everything. It's more than what I could have even dreamt of. And this was donated to us. So we're running programs out of both ranches, and we're now up to 32 horses. I forget what it says on the internet for my bio. I got to update that because we have 32 horses now.
And you began with only like 6, right?
Yeah. I think we began with like 4. I'm not sure. You never know. I probably hid a couple horses from my husband because he's like, wait, we have another horse. I'm like, no, I didn't see one. Did you?
Yeah, and we got to figure out how to feed these.
Yes. So we have these horses at both locations. We're serving about 60 heroes a week right now, and we have 120 on a waiting list just to start our program out there.
Wow.
I got a question real quick about the horses. Tammy, are there certain types of horses, and I don't know much about horses at all, are there certain types of horses that may not be, let's say, adaptable to this program because of their temper or just how they are?
Oh, sure. There can be horses, just like people and dogs even that just maybe from abuse, or maybe, I'm not sure, the environment, that they aren't conducive to this type of work. Definitely.
Any particular breeds? Like, I don't know much about horses either, but I know you have a lot of Mustangs, or you were looking at Mustangs to grow the program. Why Mustangs?
Well, Mustangs, well, first of all, it's the Wild West, and Mustangs. But the other reason is, they're being rounded up. The Bureau of Land Management will round up all these wild Mustangs in these different areas of the United States. And the ones that are not adopted out or cannot, be adoptable, they're not adoptable, they're euthanized. And so for me, I feel like with our heroes, that fits with us. Here's this wild horse that we're going to give a new purpose to, right? And they're going to live a different type of life now. And I see a lot of our heroes really take to the Mustang because it's this wild, we're going to tame them and we're going to train them, and they're going to be part of our program and partner with other heroes that come after them. And so it just fits. It fits.
Wow. That's really incredible. So you were telling us just before the break about you just had a ranch donated. I mean, to me, that's just mind-boggling, and how that's a miracle in itself that someone donates land in San Diego County where land is so expensive. I mean, that's a God shot in itself. But now you're even growing into other states, right?
Yes. Well, what we do is we're looking to purchase a ranch in Wyoming where we do our Wyoming program. And that's where we send our heroes once they've finished the program. It's like their capstone up in Wyoming.
And in the Wyoming program, they're doing something different than they are here?
Yes. So we prepare them for Wyoming. We prepare them how to ride. And we prepare them also how to work as a team with their horse to move cows, to move the cattle. And so when they go up to Wyoming, they go for a week. And we've partnered with the Flintner Ranch outside in Shell, Wyoming. And they are 7 to 9 hours a day in the saddle. And they are moving cattle from different areas, or they're out looking for lost cows.
Hey, hold that thought. We got to take a station break, otherwise Todd's gonna get me. So we got to take a station break. But I tell you what, I know you're enjoying this conversation just as well as I am, and I tell you, not too late to be a part of the conversation. All you got to do, pick up the phone, dial 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170, KCBQ, the answer, San Diego, FM 96.1, AM 1170. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
For those looking to improve their lives, there's nobody better to turn to than Paula Shaw. Paula helps people regain successful lives by identifying and eliminating self-sabotaging behavior using a multitude of mind-body techniques to identify and resolve their core issues. Working with a wide variety of healing modalities, she provides her clients with the most effective process for their specific needs. To book a session with Paula, call 858-480-9234. That's 858-480-9234.
Dr. James J.C. Cooley from the United States of America, and I am here to just say, first of all, I'm so happy and honored to be on it, to be in the Coffee Book 2023,
Unified Brain Z and the other organizations. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this collection.
Hello, welcome back.
Slice of Chicago right here in Temecula wine country. Then dive into legendary Chicago deep dish style pizza at Rosati's Pizza Pub. Piled high with gooey cheese, rich tomato sauce, and your favorite toppings, Rosati's delivers the taste of the Windy City right to your table or front door. Enjoy the cozy pub atmosphere and an impressive selection of Temecula wines. Come on down to Rosati's Pizza Pub for your slice of Chicago right here on Rancho California Road, or order online at myrosatis.com. Rosati's, where Chicago deep dish pizza meets Temecula charm.
It's the James Cooley Show.
Hello. Welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I know that we're down to about the last 7.5 minutes of the show. It's been absolutely extraordinary. Certainly got to get Tammy back on again. She is extraordinary. Of course, you already know Tammy. Paul is extraordinary. Todd, what do you think about the show so far?
Great show. It's very heartwarming to hear what Tammy's doing for first responders, and amazing that they can have these connections with this magnificent animal, this horse, this giant horse, like she mentioned earlier, over 1,000-pound animal, and can reach men that are hurting. I love this, and men and women. So shout out to Tammy. Props for all that you're doing.
Props. And, I tell you what, we're down to about the last 6 minutes of the show. I'm going to turn back over to Paul. But this is fantastic. Tammy, wow.
Tammy, I before we run out of time, and I just realized for some reason my computer's not charging. So while you answer this question, I'm going to put it in a different plug. But Tammy, do you use volunteers, and does Saddles and Service need donations? And if so, how do people do that?
Yes, we have volunteers. We have quite a few volunteers. I think we have about 50 regular volunteers. And then we have a small staff, part-time staff. And so we always need donations. And 95 cents of every dollar donated goes directly into our program. I'm not paid. I do this because this is just, I love what I'm doing. And this is just really, to me, this is just what my soul needs. And so, but we do need donations because we need more horses. We need more tack, saddles. We need, we have a lot of used tack, and some of it isn't the best, but we do with what we can, what we have. And, but we do need to be able to serve this, this community in a way, with our waiting list that we have.
Yes.
And so we definitely need donations. That's how we run. And they can go online to saddlesandservice.org. They can mail in checks. They can just go ahead and contact me and find out, the best way to go about donating for them. So
great. And, you know, it occurs to me that one of the things we've been talking about in why this program works so well is one of the problems when you're grieving is isolation and alienation. You know, you feel like you don't belong anywhere. You feel like something's wrong with you. Somehow you're defective, that you can't get over it. And one of the incredibly effective things that this relationship with a horse seems to do for the heroes is it takes away the isolation and the alienation. And that's so huge, Tammy. It's so huge.
Yes, yes. And also the community of other heroes out here. They all have this purpose, right, of growth in horsemanship, taking care of these horses. And they have this whole new community and they find new purpose too. And now I can't tell you how many of our heroes now own their own horses after they've gone through the program. And so, and I need to do a little shout out, or otherwise I know our heroes are going to get mad at me, but we have 2 donkeys now and we have 3 steer, and these donkeys are the cutest things. And, you know, the heroes will call some days and say, hey, I had a really rough day. Can I just come sit with the donkeys? It's like, of course. And they are the baby.
How do they apply for your program, Tammy? How does that work?
They can go online and it's a quick little questionnaire, and then we'll send them an email with a little bit longer questionnaire to get to know them, to find their needs. And then we have a case manager who does a wonderful job of really helping us sort through. So if there is a high risk hero, you know, we definitely want to get them in right away. So yeah, they'll go talk with the case manager. And we also have a bunkhouse now. So we've had 4 heroes come from out of state for a week-long intensive to do the program. And that has just been, it's been amazing to start that.
Wow. I love what you're doing. I love how you're growing. I sense, JC, that you're dying to ask a question. So I'm going to.
No. We almost out of time. So I can't ask the question.
This flew by. This flew by.
But you know, I tell you, this is so fantastic, so great. Got to have you back on again, Tammy.
I would love
to talk and pick it up, and you know, just share some other things. You know, so I want to thank you for all that you're doing. And I tell you, keep up the great work. Keep expanding. Why on me? Yeah, I hope.
I know, cowboy camp. That's what I'm calling it, cowboy camp.
Yes.
So I want to thank you. I want to thank Paula always. That's my girl. Always coming up with great guests, and you know, just sharing her. Paula shares her and bring hope and joy to everyone. I'd like to thank Dr. Michelle Cooley for putting together another fantastic show. I'd like to thank my folks back in KCB Studios in La Jolla, my producer Toddy, and the great team around Steve and Kevin and Matt and Chris. Thank you guys so much for the production that you put together. Most importantly, I'd like to thank our viewers and our listeners for tuning into the James Cooley Show Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Always, always, always dream big, think big, and be big. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. It's your life, and we'll see you then.